Let's begin this rack shelf presentation by placing the longest, all segments grids first. These continuous grids are located inside the perimeter of this design. The next step is to place the horizontal grids that will make up the lower part of the horizontal space frame. In most cases, it's possible to place a single grid, which can then be copied multiple times throughout the design. Now, let's use the Add Remove Segments tool to remove any leftover segments from the newly placed horizontal grids. From here, we'll start placing the vertical grids and segments that will make up the vertical space frame elements. Once again, it's much easier to set up a single grid line with segments and then copy it, rather than repeating the same operation. After adding the internal shelf grid, simply copy this grid down and snap it to its respective detail reference line. Then, select the grid and use the Add Remove Segments tool to add additional segments as required. Select these newly added grids and copy them throughout the design where applicable. The same process can be repeated for the opposite side of this design. Make sure to always add the grids on the correct side that displays a continuous grid preview. If you have difficulty placing grids that are too close together, simply place the grid away from its desired location and use the Align tool to align the grid as needed. Once again, it's best practice to copy similar grid arrangements, rather than repeating the same process multiple times. Finally, let's add both the base shelf grid, as well as the topmost shelf grid, to this design. The Make function AI will automatically locate and resize shelving to fit in between the various horizontal space frame elements. The topmost shelf grid must always be placed below the topmost space frame. The Make function AI will recognize this as the topmost shelf and automatically move it upward to fit in between the topmost space frame elements. To create the 3D model of this design, simply activate a 3D view and press the Make button. Let's now inspect the completed 3D rack shelf model. You'll notice that all the shelving fits neatly between the space frame elements, with the top face of the shelving aligned with the top of each space frame.